generating significant reactions across Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's special advisor on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, was caught in a web of lies on Al Jazeera's head-to-head program hosted by Mehdi Hasan in an episode titled Nigeria, Renewed Hope or Hopelessness. Hasan presented Bwala with his own statements from 2023 when he was a spokesperson for Atiku Abubakar, including allegations of corruption, vote buying via bullion vans, militia creation, and death threats from Tinubu's camp. Well, Bwala flatly denied making any of the allegations. Well, Al Jazeera released the edited version of the interview with complete archival clips of Daniel Bwala alleging that Tinubu created a militia to influence his votes and that he received death threats from Tinubu's camp. Let's take a look.
He's a very rich man in a very impoverished country, and there's a lot of mystery as to where he got his wealth, estimated to be in the billions of dollars. What do you say to people who highlight allegations against him of, quote, massive corruption and misappropriation of funds?
That's their opinion.
Actually, it's your opinion. In January 2023, you talked about the legal petition against him that involves, quote, massive corruption and misappropriation of funds. You were in the opposition and were very critical of his
not exactly verbatim what I said, because what you just say is not a true representation.
January 22nd, 2023, you said the petition against him involves massive corruption and misappropriation of funds belonging to the government of Lagos State, abuse of official office, conflict of interest.
I wasn't the one that went to court. And at that time, where was I?
You were an opposition member.
Thank you.
So should we not trust you when you say things as
but what is the job of opposition?
To oppose?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you know it.
For the sake of opposing? No. In budget. You're okay with that?
I think
Do you think it's funny? I mean,
no,
two-thirds of Nigerians...
You think it's funny?
No, I don't. I think people who are giving $163 million back shouldn't be in charge of the country's budget.
Thank you.
Well, in a post-interview statement, Bwala accused Hasan of opposition research-style journalism, insisting his earlier remarks were simply the job of opposition. And I'll read Daniel Bwala's statement in part. He wrote, "When I signed on the privileged job granted to me by Mr. President, I was well aware of its implications. Selling ice cream, looking fine, and seeking the praises of men were never part of it. Some of the fiercest critics of my interview cannot even stand local TV anchors, but the task of promoting and defending the president and his administration is what I do with ease and joy. Head to Head contacted me requesting an interview, stating that they wanted to challenge our government on security, the economy, and corruption. Nowhere in our almost 6 months of communication did they mention that they were going to challenge my past. If that had been their plan, ethically and professionally, they were supposed to inform me so I could prepare my response. But that's okay. Ethically, that's on them, not on me. I refuse to swallow the pill of Mehdi's opposition research-style journalism. And even today, if you carefully compare what he read as quotes from organizations and groups, you will see that many were inaccurate and some were outright fake news. But I will leave that for another day. As for what I said about President Tinubu in the past, I am glad those were things I said when I was in the opposition, saddled with such zeal. It is all politics. Half of Donald Trump's cabinet is made up of people who once spoke against him. And quite a number of people in our own cabinet also spoke against President Tinubu in the past. Those things do not bother him if you care to know. Of course, Rufai, you know that Nigerians are not buying it. And, you know, social media has made sure of that. The clips are damning. And the phrase, "I never said that," is now a punchline across the country. And I'll take Gray's tweet. He wrote, "Daniel Bwala, this isn't a press statement. It is a confession of moral bankruptcy. By saying your past attacks on Tinubu were just politics, you admit you were either a liar then or you are a hired gun now. Which is it? Principles aren't a jacket you change because the weather in the State House is nicer. You're upset Mehdi Hasan didn't warn you. You'd bring up your own words, bro. An intellectual doesn't need a script to defend his character unless that character is a fiction. We already know your 2027 script. When this administration ends, you'll be back on TV saying, I was just doing my job, while pivoting to the next bidder. You aren't defending the government, you are defending your paycheck. You didn't go to head to represent Nigeria. You went there to audition for a man whose values loyalty over truth. You claim you have brave defense, but all we saw was a man drowning in his own archives. This is another post on X from George. I believe he's from Ghana. He wrote, I watched this interview of the Nigerian politician with Mehdi Hasan on Al Jazeera, and all I can say is sorry to our Nigerian friends. I know African politics can be shameless, but Nigerian politicians seem to be beyond shameless. I sincerely can't imagine how they must feel watching that interview. Well, you know what? Daniel Bwala has now released a clip which fact-checks key moments from the interview, debunking some of Hassan's claims as well as on Nigeria. Let's take a look.
Nigeria is a proud, sovereign, independent nation, a powerhouse in Africa. So why did you just let Donald Trump and the United States bomb your country on Christmas Day?
The United States government did not bomb our country. The decision by the U.S. government was anchored on the intelligence sharing between Nigeria and the United States and the agreement on the operation.
President Tinubu said in August, there is no more corruption in Nigeria. That's a ridiculous thing to say, is it not?
We investigate any case of corruption, not just in the defense, but anywhere in government. This administration has had lots of people who are in government, either sacked or investigated and being prosecuted. The resolve of our administration in dealing with corruption is obvious.
Why did he say there's no more corruption?
You probably read him out of context.
No, I didn't.
No, read exactly what he said. You're cherry picking. How can someone just stand and say there is no corruption in Nigeria?
It is getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy and no more corruption. Full stop, close quote.
Good. So this is the context.
The reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption.
You remember he was a senator.
Tunde, why does Deloitte say they have no record of the man working for them?
That is not the right thing.
Waiting patiently here.
As a fact check, Deloitte denied that they said he never worked for them.
The Deloitte trained me as an accounting firm. Mobile has attested to my record, a standing record. I got to the pinnacle of my career. In the private sector, who among them can brag about?
All right, Rufai, over to you.
Good. See, I don't have anything against people doing their job when in opposition. But when you're going to do it with facts. The problem with Bwala is there were lots of embellishments while I was in opposition. And when you do embellishments, when they say eat your word back, because those words were not based on facts, then you start to run away from them. An instance, do you know that Frank Tribal issued a statement yesterday as regards the Tinubu wanted to use militia to hurt us thing, death threats on my life? Frank Tribal said that when he was in their campaign, Bwala did say that they should issue that statement, spinning it, and they told him that they don't want the political theatrics before he still finally went ahead to say it. That was not based on facts. As regards the Deloitte one, the Deloitte one Mehdi was quoting was a response to a subpoena. I can read it for you, for sake of empirical facts. And, okay. So, however, in response to a subpoena around September 2022 seeking blah, 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 Deloitte responded in a letter, September 20, 2022, saying that we have no records that the president is in our system, and as such, we have no employment records for them. Because Bwala came back to fact-check him and said it was wrong. Thirdly, like I said, Mehdi didn't even do his job well. because there was so much. How will he explain, even if you give Tinubu 30 years, nothing will work? Then he goes on and on and on and on like that. And that's why I see, when people are doing opposition, stick to the facts. Empirical facts. And the question also, and that's why I'm not surprised. You see, because, and I don't like it to be about myself, but when he came here that day, these were the same question we posed at him, that some of his supporters were deceiving him and saying, yes, he answered if I fire back. Because we say you have no integrity. But these were the things you said, and now you're saying he's in opposition. Politics does not mean you should lie. So does it mean that you were telling porkies to the people you were telling those things to? This was the same you that came out to say Tinubu didn't do anything in Lagos, he collected a tax. The last point I want to make, based on all his fact check, is just cherry picking, and the cherry picking are never based on empiricals. Because that video, the verbatim point Mehdi made, that the president said there was no corruption. Yes, there was no corruption. Yes, they've been able to now, because it was a day after, they now retracted by saying there was a contest to the matter, that they were talking about the oil sector, no corruption in the oil sector. Let's even press it further. No corruption in the oil sector. Wasn't the regulator in the oil sector sacked because Dangote, a player in the oil sector, brought about allegations that he funded school of his children above his pay grade? Till today, they killed that Farouk case.
No investigation.
No investigation, nothing, because it's been taken away. So when you say, oh, the context was there was no corruption in the oil sector, what was that?
All right.
So you see, all of these things, it just shows that we should be careful. We should be able to have a strong level of conviction and all of that. Bwala is my friend and my brother. I will say it, yes. We don't agree on many things today. You get, tomorrow, I will keep speaking on my side. We might agree on some things. We will still talk again.
All right.
But for the interest, when you are doing opposition, do it and stick to the facts. Because you see, life, those are your quickly this, that. You might still come back. And that's what I was saying the last week. That this one, that some people are saying, opposition will not near you. You forget that the person in opposition yesterday can be your ally today. Who will ever have thought that Rufai and Peter Obi will be on the same camp?
All right. Dr. Abati, you were a spokesman to former President Goodluck Jonathan.
Honestly, a lot did occur. Now, after that particular interview dropped, Nigerians went in. In fact, someone on X said, this is what happens when you speak from both sides of your mouth. Another person said, defending Tinubu is hard. As a matter of fact, Isaac Fayose said, Nigeria is the only country where some people's integrity is in their Old Testament. And Bwala himself, he came out and said, everything I said before was just politics. It is my past. Just imagine. He also said Al Jazeera never told him they would bring up his old statement and is challenging the opposition to go on Al Jazeera themselves. Or more. A bit So, here's what's funny about all of this. Rufai Oseni has been asking Bwala these exact same questions on Arise News for months. Same questions, same pressure. And Bwala's response to Rufai, don't talk to me like a secondary school student. But when Mehdi Hasan asked the same questions on Al Jazeera, suddenly the whole world is applauding. And Rufai himself came out and said, I am vindicated. Before you go, I'm asking you directly, do you accept that explanation? That everything he said before was just politics? Kindly drop your honest answer in the comments. If this video added value, hit that like button right now, subscribe if you haven't, and share this particular video on your WhatsApp status. Let's keep everyone informed. I'll see you in my next video.